Hey guys, this is Alex from Periphery. I'm a front of house engineer and I'm going to show you how to do Midi on the dLive. First, you're going to need a dLive. Then you're going to need an audio interface with Midi capability. In this case, I have the Play Audio 12 with the Mio XM. Then you're going to also need a computer. One thing to note, there is no physical Midi connection. It is all run over TCP/IP. So when you're setting this up, make sure that the computer that you're using and the dLive are on the exact same network, wireless or wired. In this case, I have a wired and a wireless network. The computers are wireless and the dLive is wired. First, we're gonna get the computer set up to transmit Midi to the dLive. First, you're gonna download this thing called Allen and Heath Midi control. It is available for free on Allen and Heath's website. Now you're gonna wanna open that program and it's gonna look just like this. This is how you're going to want to set it up. You're going to choose the mixer as dLive. You're going to use the MIDI through protocol. You're going to choose TCP/IP. The default address for the mix rack is 192.168.1.70. And then you're going to click this little check mark that says connect, and it will auto connect. Now you're going to want to have this program open every time you open the computer without you even thinking about it. So, way to do that is you're going to go into system settings and type in login. And then it says right here, open at login. Then there's going to be some stuff here, and you're going to press plus, and you're going to add this Allen and Heath MIDI control. It does not pop up automatically if this is not in here. When you set up the login items, you'll have a little thing at the top just like that. Now, I've tested this quite a few times, turning the computer on and off. It does start and it does connect as long as you're on the correct network that the dLive is on. What I would do is start the computer first, let that turn on and connect to the dLive before opening up your program. So when you open this program, what it does is it creates a virtual MIDI port for your computer. Now, let's get the DAW set up to send MIDI out through that virtual port. Now, what you're going to do is create a new track, MIDI track, obviously. Pro Tools, they do the same thing. It's a MIDI track. Call it dLive MIDI or whatever you'd like. And then you're going to create a little MIDI region. Now, there is a document online that has everything that the dLive can do via MIDI. As you can see here, each of these parameters controls different things. Fader levels, mute, send levels, DCA, assign input to mute, etc., etc. I really only want to use the scene recall because that's all I want it to do. But you can do all kinds of stuff. So we're going to use program change. In Cubase, you can choose what parameters you want to add to your lanes. At this case, I have the program change. Breath LSB we use for the Axe effect, so that's just a standard thing that comes up. Now that we've got the track, the program change, and the MIDI lane all created in Cubase or Pro Tools, we're going to take you over to the dLive and show you how that's set up. Here we are at the dLive. So you're going to go to Utility and Shows, and it's going to show up here, and you're going to go to Control and say MIDI Controls and MIDI Channel. I don't remember if this was defaulted to 1 through 5 or 12 through 16. It doesn't really matter as long as you tell the computer what you want it to use. I chose 1 through 5. Makes it easy. These other MIDI controls are used for transport to control Pro Tools if you want to set that up. And those are the other modes that you saw in the Allen and Heath MIDI control software. So you can use this basically as a controller for Pro Tools, and like everything would show up from Pro Tools here as well. I haven't set it up yet, but that would be pretty cool. So once you have your scenes all set up and you know what you want to do, basically the ones I made are just panning changes and some level changes for solos, but that's it. I haven't really figured out how to do like tap tempo. That would be a cool one. According to the document, it can't do tap tempo, but maybe you could create a scene that had the tap tempo stored in it, but that's like kind of that's a whole thing. So it's fine. Tapping is relatively easy. So as you can see here, I have my 5 scenes, and you can have as many as you want. They correspond to the program changes 1 through 5. 1 through 5 here, and etc. So if you want to have program change 12, it's scene 12. There is a custom MIDI button. Basically, you can click this, and then you can write your own number in here. So instead of it being 5, I want to choose 12, whatever, you can do that. And then, so program change 12 will change scene 5. But that is confusing and unnecessary, so I'm just going to keep it at nothing. And it corresponds 1-to-1, 1 through 5. I made some test MIDI here just for you guys to see. They're all very close together and don't align to anything, just for you guys to see that it is changing on the console. So this is my program change lane, and this is program change 1 or 3, 1, 5. It's all random. So I'm going to press play here, and then I'll swing over to the dLive and show you what it's doing. Now that you've seen that, let's go take a look at the console. These are the channels I am using right here. Is Mark, Jake, and Misha. They're all guitars. And we're going to start. These are my scene controls here as well. I'm going to start with number 1 here just to start. So I will show you from far away what it's doing, and then I'll give you a close-up. You can see it's changing up here. There you go, doing some fader moves. There we go. Now let's do a close-up of the pans. So as you can see, works really awesome. I would say that if your session is on the grid, I would put it, I think we have it set to 1/16th note before the actual change that you want, and it seems to have lined up perfectly. I tested it with like virtual sound check and stuff, so I would do 1/16th before the actual hit that you want. I don't know if that's latency within MIDI or whatever. But yeah, 1/16th note. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me, leave a comment, whatever. I can also show you how to make the scenes. I just didn't want to do it. It takes a little longer, but yeah, that's how you do MIDI on the dLive.